Well, hello there. I am Darcy D, your virtual voice coach, and today's webinar is on warming up. Most singers warm up and then go sing songs. That's not the problem. That's what singers do. The challenge is what they choose to do for a warm-up and why. Because if your warm-up is misaligned, you're not preparing your voice correctly. You're reinforcing some of the very issues you're trying to fix as a singer. Today we're going to simplify this process. We're going to move through 3 stages: stretching, breath work, and then vocal exercise. This is how you prepare your voice properly every time. Sometimes before I even make a sound, I like to prepare the body, because the voice is not separate from the body, it's part of a system. If there is tension in the body, there will be a restriction in the breath. And if the breath is restricted, the voice will then compensate. So what I like to do is, and these are very simple exercises, and I like to focus basically on the waist up and just give myself the ability to sort of prepare, to relax, to release, and then to eventually engage the voice. So I'm going to keep this simple and controlled. There's things that you can do to release your neck. So as a singer, we use intrinsic muscles, the little muscles that are attached to the vocal cord system inside. They're very small systems. We use those as singers. But sometimes the extrinsic muscles, the sternocleidomastoid here and other muscles of the neck and shoulders, they get in the way of the voice and can sometimes squeeze off our ability to relax as we sing. So some simple release exercises I like to do. You can even do this in a sitting position and take your arms and reach them for the floor. And keeping your shoulders square, you reach for the floor, just trying to pull your arms down. And then as you do this, you're breathing, and then you can relax. And then again, stretch and reach for the floor. And then relax. Now you can take your arms and go this way, reaching for the walls, and you just reaching for the walls, and then relax. And then reach for the walls. It's very simple and very effective. For the shoulders, I like to take the trap muscle here, take this trap muscle, and I grip it and then give it a good squeeze. And on an exhale, I'm going to turn my chin in the opposite direction. Like this. And exhaling as I do that. You can do that as many times as you want, then switch to the other side. Give it a good squeeze. Oh, you can feel the stretch from the ear down to your shoulder. Oh, just like that, right? And then just simply roll the shoulders out, give it a good roll. Another one that my chiropractor taught me is to put your thumb between your collarbone and your rib cage here. There's a soft spot. Bring the fists together, and then just roll your arms as high as you can, as far back as you can, and down again, and just roll them around. And you can feel your shoulder blades coming together in the back, and you're just rolling it out. Rolling, 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 rolling. Feels good. And then again, release all of that. Again, anything that you can do to assist yourself in preparing the body to relax, to take the tension away. Anything, yoga, stretching on the floor, anything that you've ever learned to help stretch your body out, probably all very good. There's nothing aggressive about what we're doing. We're not trying to work the body. We're just removing restrictions. So you're not warming up your voice yet. You're creating the conditions that allow the voice to function. After you stretch a little bit, then you can look at some breathing exercises. Now, obviously, breath is a very big component to activating the voice as singers. So we want to bring some attention to the breath. And what I've found is there's all kinds of exercises you can find out there about diaphragmatic breathing and all these different things you can do. But what I found over my years of being a voice coach is that what we need to do is breathe for the body. And what I mean by that is it's not just physical, it's cognitive. So we need to think about how we're breathing and why we're breathing in a certain way, because the brain is directing every action involved in singing. So before we phonate, we can calm the system, focus the mind, and establish some control. These exercises are in the app in the warm-up section. So we can do some stretching, we can do some breathing, and then we'll get to the exercises to actually warm up the voice. But what I'd like to do is demonstrate, and you've probably seen this. It's box breathing or military breathing. I've seen it demonstrated many different ways, and it's basically you with an empty lung, you inhale to a count of. I've set this to 5. Some people like 4. Some people like 7. If you just it's 5 seconds, so it's 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. That's how long you inhale through the nose. And then you're going to hold it for 5 seconds, and then you're going to exhale for 5 seconds. Try to think about emptying the breath completely. You're going to hold it for 5 seconds, and then you're going to repeat and inhale again. And what I've done is I've created this little system, and I'll just get you to follow along with me. We're going to zip through this a little bit. Okay, it starts with a simple countdown. Then you inhale through the nose, fill to capacity, and hold. Same count, 5 seconds. Exhale through the mouth, depleting all your air. Hold. Relax. Inhale. Hold. Take the pressure off the vocal cords as you hold the breath. Exhale. And hold. Fill to capacity and hold. Then exhale. Hold. Don't inhale. Relax. Inhale. Exhale. Hold. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Exhale. Breathe naturally. You should feel somewhat of a balanced state. You'll get into a pattern, you'll get into a rhythm after a few inhales, holds, exhales. After a few of these, they'll start to settle, and you'll just feel your body opening up. You'll feel the breath being more balanced, and this is a good thing because it's stabilizing the entire body. I sometimes do this when I have trouble sleeping at night. I get through maybe 3 rounds of it, and I don't remember anything. So I can attest that this does indeed work. So this one is also in the app, so you can find that in there. And I put the relaxing music in to sort of help you get to that place. So another one that I like to do, and this one's a little bit more aggressive, and it does take some getting used to, but this for me was rebalancing. Sometimes I'd be trying to breathe and I couldn't take a full breath. I was probably over breathing, and so I'd have to rebalance the voice and the breathing system. And this one's a little different. I do have a slide system for this one as well to sort of guide you, but it's very basic. And what you're going to do is you're going to empty the breath, and then you're going to inhale once through the nose to capacity, and then one out. Then you're going to do 2 in, and on the second one in, you're going to fill to capacity. So, and then 1 out. Then 2 in, 2 out. And always on the last one, you're either going to fill to capacity or empty completely. Then you're going to move to 3 in, 1 out. So 3 in, 2 out. You may find yourself starting to get dizzy. You can pause, stop, just relax, let everything catch up, and then eventually 3 in and 3 out. Right, and then in the app, I have this going to 6 in, 6 out. You can go as high as you want with this, but 6 in would sound something or look something like this. 6 and 2. 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6. And again, go as far as it's comfortable for you. The key in this, if the breath is unstable, the voice will then compensate. So before we use the voice, we stabilize the breath. Before we stabilize the breath, we can do some stretches. You can do this either way. You could start with breathing and then stretch. You could start with the stretching and then do your breath work. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can do this at any time of day to prepare for the warm-up. So why do we warm up? We're not warming up to sound good. We're warming up to activate the vocal cords. We want to increase the blood flow in the vocal mechanism. This is called vasodilation. When we get blood flowing through the vocal mechanism, there are certain exercises that expedite that. Getting the blood flow through that system allows the muscles, the intrinsic muscles of the chest voice and the head voice, and there's about 5 different muscle groups here in the vocal mechanism. We want to warm those up. When and how long do we warm up? Right before you use your voice, not hours before. An idle voice cools down quickly, so if you have warmed up your voice a few hours ago and then you think you're just going to jump in and start singing songs, you can very well do that. Are you going to be warmed up? Probably not. Right? And how long does it take to warm up the voice? It takes as long as it takes because your voice is very much influenced by sleep, stress, the state of your health, the climate you live in, and how you use it. If you're performing every night, 2 or 3 sets a night, that's heavy usage. And so you may need to take care in warming it up a little bit slower to bring yourself to the point of being able to work it. And if you don't use your voice very often at all, it may also take you a little bit of time to warm it up. How do you know when you're ready? How do you know when your voice is ready, when you're warmed up? You're warmed up when notes feel accessible, when the tone is clear, when there's no strain or no disconnect through the transition. It should feel easy, stable, unforced. When we're warming up the voice, we want to use vocables. Vocables are different sounds that we make. They typically don't make any sense. They're just sounds that enable us to warm up the voice. During a warm-up, we are not training vowels. We are not shaping the tone. We are activating the source of the sound, the vocal cords. Simply preparing the voice to exercise or sing. Some of the tools that we would use would be the lip bubble. We've all seen this before. We could use a tongue roll. We could use what's called an NG or hung sound, where the back of the tongue closes off with the soft palate and air comes out the nose. We're not shaping the sound. Hung. We're just making an sound, which we can still direct slightly dopey, slightly bratty. So we still have some of our tools available to us. We're just not shaping the sound. We're just activating the source, and we're making a pleasant noise, if you will. We can use hum, like an M, an N, and we can use the semi-occluded vocal tract exercise, the straw phonation. You can puff up the cheeks. You can use nostril. All of these exercises balance airflow, they improve vocal cord closure, they reduce strain. Now, here's an important warning. As we've learned in the past, vowels by their very nature direct tone, either to head voice or chest voice or somewhere in between. And vowels like ah are wider, they drive tone primarily to chest voice. Ah, very easy, ah. Where vowels like e and oo, woo, wee, drive tone to head voice. So if we start using a combination of vowel consonant, we could indeed be damaging the voice. These open vowel consonant combinations, you're asking your voice to balance before it's ready. This leads to strain and vocal compensation or overcompensation and indeed bad habits. So using a song as a warm-up is not recommended. Even simple songs require full coordination. If your voice isn't ready, it will compensate, and that's where strain and struggle will begin. All right, so we've done a little stretching, we've done a little breathing, and now we want to activate some simple scales. Picking the right scale at first is very important, and learning how to habituate how you use that scale. So in other words, we learn the scale, and then the scale starts to do what it's designed to do. So excellent exercisers have to memorize these patterns first and then utilize them comfortably. So let me show you what I mean. And you should always start the scale where it's comfortable for you. And when we're warming up the voice, we always want to start somewhere in the middle register and maybe go down, or start in chest voice and come up to middle register. There's no need when you're just warming up the voice to fire off into your upper register and think that that's going to be helping. The way the voice works in the upper register, the vocal cords approximate to a smaller, longer vibrating mass, and there's more natural tension. So in order to activate that comfortably, if you're not warmed up already, it might be a little bit difficult. So we want to focus on your middle register to your chest voice. We get fuller chord engagement, slower vibration, it's familiar, it's your speech level, and you're not searching for notes. You're building ease, consistency, and freedom. I wanted to demonstrate some of the starting notes. So for a male singer on a 5-tone scale, we might start down here in what we call C3, third octave. And you could do something as simple as a lip bubble. And you can walk that up right into your middle register, your transition. So you would take the time to walk it up and then bring it back down, or restart the scale and do it over again. Female singers, you'd probably start around G3. And I do them pretty much in this order. The 5-tone first, and then I will do I call the double octave scale. So it's just the octave and I repeat it one more time. So I might use the and I would walk that up comfortably, maybe just into my transition, just through it, and then come down or restart the scale. The females would probably start this on G3. Right? So you can repeat that twice. And there's no reason, again, to get too far into your head voice. And then I know for a lot of you, the descending arpeggio. Now, typically, I do the descending arpeggio 3 times. for the sake of the warm-up, I like to do it twice, just to make sure that I'm not overdoing it just yet. And you could use the hum. Remember, on that vocal bowl, air is coming out the nose, and we're not really using a vowel shape, so it's just noise being directed. The breath is being directed through the nose, and we're just warming up the vocal cords. Just like that. And then after I've done that, I might open up on the 1.5 octave scale. I might open it back up to a lip bubble or a tongue roll. Important with this exercise that you're finding every note. This exercise might be tricky at first because of how it's laid out on the ascending pattern and the descending pattern. We want to make sure we're finding each and every note. And we want to do this all on one breath. Now notice I'm already through my transition here. So I'm starting in chest voice and the top note is head voice dominant. So I want to make sure that I am as comfortably balanced as possible. But this long scale, this 1.5 octave scale, allows me to take a run at that transition, and I don't feel it as much as I would, say, on the 5-tone scale, which is like a short standing long jump, right? So that's the benefit of the longer scale. Once you find the connection and you've got that balanced, you'll be able to maybe eventually even take your voice higher into your head voice, which is what we want to do when we start working it. What to avoid? Going too high too soon, which is why I saved that 1.5 octave for last. We want to avoid forcing the sound. We don't ever want to have to assist the pitch. We just want to comfortably warm up the voice. You can use some of your tools like a dopey larynx, if that works for you. You can use a slightly bratty sound if that works for you. I would recommend in a warm-up you stay as neutral as possible. So just at speech level where your larynx wants to hang out. Okay? We don't want to disconnect the sound. We want it to stay connected. We would like as little extrinsic muscle as humanly possible, so we're not assisting with outside muscles. We want to wake up the voice naturally. Some other things to consider while you're warming up your voice. You could ask yourself, have you had enough sleep lately? Are you under stress at work or at home or somewhere in your life? Are you experiencing illness? Have you just overcome a gigantic chest cold? All of these things will play factor in how long it takes you to warm up your voice and will reveal to you the limitations of your voice as such. Have you been overusing your voice? Have you been gigging constantly? Have you been learning new material and expanding your range? This can all lead to overuse. Are you taking certain medications that influence the dryness of your voice or fatigue? These all play a factor. These affect your warm-up time. And again, it takes what it takes to warm up your voice. I hope I've stressed enough that warming up your voice is indeed deliberate, intentional exercise. We use deliberate, intentional exercise to warm up the voice. We don't sing songs. When you're finished warming up, you can now engage in exercise and or sing songs. Once you've done that, for however long you've done that, you need to cool down your voice for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Cooling down is simple. It's the same as warming up. No articulates, middle register down, light, easy. Return the voice to speech level function. Like an athlete, you reset the system once you've used it or abused it, right? So warm-ups don't improve your voice, they prepare it. And when done correctly, they create consistency, they build habits, healthy habits, they support longevity, and most importantly, they make your real vocal development possible. If you have liked what you've seen today on this webinar, I would appreciate a like, share, and subscribe. This will get it in touch with other like-minded singers, and it's good for me. I appreciate it. Now, all of these exercises are available in the Virtual Voice Coach app. You can find them in the warm-up section. I'm going to include the breath work, the stretching, and some exercises that will have the scales in there for you to follow, both in video and audio form. And when proper, simple care and attention is used, you will definitely learn to sing for yourself.